Have you ever really stopped to wonder how your town actually runs? I'm not talking about the big speeches you hear, but the real, nitty-gritty, day-to-day stuff. Well, it turns out the secrets are usually hidden in plain sight, tucked away in documents most of us would probably ignore. So today, we're going to grab one of those documents and see what kind of story it's really telling.
Here it is. This is our source material, the official minutes from just one county meeting in Oklahoma. Think of this as the blueprint for the town. It's the raw data, the play-by-play of how a community gets managed. Our job? To translate all this formal language into a story that actually makes sense. Okay, now look at this sentence pulled right from the page. It's dry. It's full of jargon. And let's be real, it sounds incredibly boring, right? It almost feels like it's designed to make your eyes glaze over. But what if it's not? That is the big question for us today. We are going to take this dense, formal language and crack it wide open. We're going to see the hidden mechanics of local government. How decisions are really made, how our money is actually spent, and who's calling the shots.
First things first, let's talk about the foundation. Before anyone can pave a new road or plan a big project, a county has to do its chores. Think of it as the basic maintenance that keeps the whole system from just grinding to a halt.
So what does that look like in practice? Well, in this one meeting, the commissioners just ticked off a whole list of things that seem small but are absolutely essential. They approved the minutes from their last meeting, which creates the official history. They signed off on purchase orders, fee reports from a bunch of different departments, the treasurer's report. This is the steady procedural heartbeat of how a government functions. And you probably noticed the minutes say the same phrases over and over again. Motion was made, seconded, motion carried. It sounds like legal code, but it's really just a simple four-step dance. One person proposes something, another person agrees to talk about it, they vote, and if most of them say yes, boom, it's official. This structure is what makes sure every single decision is out in the open and on the record.
All right, so we've got the procedure down. Now, let's follow the money. This is where all that paperwork and formal voting starts to have a real impact on the real world and on your tax dollars.
So here, the commissioners are setting a budget. They're not just swiping a credit card whenever they feel like it. They are officially declaring a spending limit for maintaining the highways for the whole month. It's a key financial control. But what does that money actually buy?
A motion was made to award a bid for a very, very specific amount, $51,709. Now, I know numbers in government documents can feel abstract, just floating there on a page. But this one has a very concrete purpose.
And there it is. That's where the money went. It was used to buy a brand new Chevy truck for one of the county districts. And just like that, a boring line item in the minutes becomes a physical thing, a real asset that's going to be out there fixing roads. This is literally how a vote turns tax dollars into a tool for the community.
Okay, so we've seen the process and we followed the money, but who's actually steering the ship? Well, this meeting also took care of a really critical task, deciding who's going to lead the board for the whole next year.
It's a pretty straightforward vote, but a really important one. The commissioners themselves vote on who's going to be in charge of them. So in this meeting, they picked Jamie Oliver to be the new chairman and Mike Parker to be the vice chairman. This sets up the official pecking order and decides who's running the meetings for the rest of the year. And now we get to the most mysterious part of the minutes. Twice in this one meeting, the commissioners voted to go into something called an executive session. This is where the public meeting pauses and they go into a private room. So what on earth are they allowed to talk about behind closed doors?
An executive session isn't some secret free-for-all. It's a very specific tool, defined by law, that lets the board handle sensitive stuff without putting the county at risk. I mean, think about it. If the county was being sued, you wouldn't want them to broadcast their entire legal strategy to the other side, right? That's what these sessions are for.
And this isn't some loophole they found, it's literally the law. The minutes even cite the exact Oklahoma state statute that gives them the power to do this. That little reference is so important because it shows they're following a very strict set of rules about when and why they can go private.
In this one meeting, they actually had two of these private sessions. The first one was with their lawyer to talk about a lawsuit that was already filed against them. But the second one was with the district attorney to talk about a potential future lawsuit. So you can see they're dealing with current legal fires and also trying to prevent new ones from starting.
Now here's a detail I find really interesting. Look what happened after that first private session. The board came back into the public meeting, and the minutes say, officially, that no action was taken. This is a super important detail. it probably means the whole point of the meeting was just for the lawyer to give them an update, to brief them on the situation. A decision wasn't actually needed right at that moment.
So after pulling apart all these different pieces, the routine votes, the spending, the leadership elections, the closed-door legal chats, what's the big picture? How does this one kind of dry document actually connect back to your everyday life?
It all snaps together to form that blueprint we talked about. These minutes show us that local government isn't chaos. It's a very structured process of motions and votes. They show us real money being spent on real things we can see and touch, like a new truck for the road crew. They tell us who's in charge and how the county protects itself from risk. Every one of those seemingly boring lines is actually a building block for your community.
And that's really the whole point. This was never just about LeFlore County, was it? This is the template for how thousands of towns and counties work every single day. So the real question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you know how to read the blueprint, what story are the minutes in your town trying to tell you?